All right, today we are diving deep into one of nature's biggest secrets. We're talking about specialization and evolution, how life actually gets its shape. This is the story behind a cheetah's speed, a cactus's spines, basically how everything got so perfectly designed for its job. So let's get into it. I mean, just stop and really think about that for a second. You've got a gigantic whale cruising through the deep ocean, a tiny bat using sound to see in total darkness, a cactus just chilling in a desert where nothing else can survive. The variety is just mind-blowing. And you know what? These aren't just random quirks. They're super specific, highly engineered solutions to the one puzzle that matters: survival. And really, there's one word that ties all of this incredible diversity together, and that word is specialization. So what does it actually mean? How does a living thing become a perfect fit for where it lives? Let's break it all down. To put it really simply, specialization just means having the perfect tools for the job. It's all about a species becoming an absolute master of one very specific lifestyle. And this isn't some abstract idea. It's a real biological process where traits get sharpened and honed over generations to beat a specific challenge. And when you get right down to it, it all comes back to these four things, right? The four biggest challenges in life. You've got to find food, you've got to avoid becoming food, you have to survive the weather, and you need to pass on your genes. Literally every single weird and wonderful trait you see in nature is a custom-built solution to one of these problems. So how does a polar bear actually get that super thick coat? Or a hummingbird get that long, skinny beak? Well, these amazing tools don't just pop into existence. Nope, they are forged over an incredibly long time by the powerful engine of specialization. And that engine is evolution. And the name for that engine? It's natural selection. The best way to think about it is like nature's own quality control department. It's this relentless process that over millions of years just sifts through all the tiny differences in a species, and it only keeps the traits that give even a tiny little advantage for survival. And this shows just how beautifully simple the idea is. First, you've got variation, because no two animals are exactly the same. Some of those little differences give one of them an edge. Maybe one cheetah is just a little bit faster than its siblings. Well, that faster cheetah is going to catch more food, live longer, and have more cubs. And here's the kicker. It passes on those fast genes. Now, you just repeat that cycle for thousands and thousands of years, and suddenly the entire cheetah population is faster. That, in a nutshell, is natural selection. Okay, so that's the theory. But the real magic happens when you see this stuff in the real world. I mean, the evidence is absolutely everywhere. So let's look at a few classic examples of specialization in action. Bird beaks are maybe the most perfect example. I mean, look at this. A hummingbird's beak is basically a delicate living straw for sipping nectar. A hawk's beak is a sharp, brutal hook made for tearing meat. And a duck's beak? It's a super effective strainer for filtering out tiny bits of food from the water. You can literally tell what a bird does for a living just by looking at its beak. It's a perfect case of form-fitting function. And you see the exact same story playing out inside the mouths of mammals. Herbivores, like a cow or a horse, they've got these big, flat molars that work like grinding stones for mashing up tough plants. Then you look at a carnivore, like a lion or a wolf, and their teeth are like daggers, perfect for gripping and ripping. The animal's entire diet is practically written in the shape of its teeth. And specialization isn't just about what you eat, it's also about where you live. A polar bear is just an absolute masterpiece of Arctic engineering. It's got that thick fur, huge layers of fat, all designed to survive unbelievable cold. And then you go to the total opposite extreme, a desert animal like a fennec fox, and it's got these massive ears that act like personal radiators to dump body heat and stay cool. Two crazy climates, two perfectly specialized solutions. So we've covered the what and the how, but now it's time for the why. Why does all this specialization really matter for the planet as a whole? Well, as it turns out, it is absolutely crucial. See, by specializing, every species carves out its own little job, its own niche. The hummingbird isn't out there competing with the hawk for food. They live in totally different worlds. This cuts down on competition big time. And when everyone kind of stays in their own lane, so to speak, more species can live together in the same place. That leads to a balanced, stable ecosystem, and it's what ultimately drives the incredible biodiversity we see all over the Earth. But there's a catch. This high-level specialization, it's a double-edged sword. Being a master of one thing is awesome, as long as that one thing is always available. Think about a koala. It only eats eucalyptus leaves. If something happens to those trees, that koala is in serious, serious trouble. It's really the ultimate high-risk, high-reward strategy in the game of evolution. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, from the nuts and bolts of natural selection all the way to how it affects entire ecosystems. So let's just do a quick final review of the biggest takeaways. So, to wrap it all up, specialization is all about developing the perfect tools, like beaks, teeth, or fur, for a very specific lifestyle. This whole fine-tuning process happens because of natural selection. It's what creates the amazing variety of life that keeps our ecosystems humming along. But it also comes with that one huge risk. If the world changes too fast, specialists can get left behind. And this quote just captures it so perfectly. Evolution isn't about these giant, sudden leaps. It's about the slow, patient buildup of tiny, helpful changes over vast stretches of time. It's that slow and steady process that has painted the incredible masterpiece of life that we see all around us today. Which brings us to one last really important question to think about. For millions of years, being a specialist has been the winning strategy. But what happens now in a world that is changing faster than natural selection can possibly keep up with? Is being a specialist still the safest bet for survival? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.